Thanks, everyone. And speaking of energy, it is really hard to follow Baruti in terms of energy. That is wonderful. I'm so glad to be here with you this morning to welcome you and help kick off this day, which is about celebrating but also advancing the movement for equity for East Portland. And that's an important thing. I talk a lot in my administration, we work a lot in my administration about advancing equity, some of the work that Baruti has talked about. And often when we talk about equity, we think we're just talking about racial, ethnic, religious equity, and those are extraordinarily important. But at the end of the day, if we're going to make this a community that works for everyone, we need to understand that equity means geographic and neighborhood equity too, because everyone in Portland deserves the same opportunities regardless of where they live. And that's what this work is about. And we have to start by being really brutally frank. That has not been the history of Portland. And to be really specific, East Portland has for far too long been left out. And that's changing. And the reason I called it a movement is because the reason that's changing is not because of some edict from above. The reason that's changing is because on the ground level, people in East Portland have demanded that it change. And that's been making a real difference. The movement that's coming from East Portland, the demand that the city of Portland, that Multnomah County, that the state invest in, support, and help thrive the neighborhoods of East Portland has come from the ground up. And it's come from the ground up, and now it's all of our need and desire to support it and to help move it forward. And I want to commit the fact that Multnomah County is on board. Now, Multnomah County is on board in a couple of ways. The first thing that we've been doing is, frankly, historically how Multnomah County has related to the community. We've been making sure that our services to the community have been more equitably distributed. And in the last couple of years, despite the fact that we've had ongoing budget cuts, we've been making real important investments in East Portland and East County. Our new East County Justice Center that we opened just last year makes a tremendous difference and ensures that access to public safety services is broadly shared by everyone in the community. That's the right thing to do. Our new East Portland Health Clinic that we opened in the Rockwood neighborhood has been, unfortunately, incredibly popular. The unfortunate reason is that there's such tremendous demand. But again, that's the right thing to do. We've taken unused county land and turned it into our crops farm, harnessing neighborhood involvement and volunteers to grow food for hungry people in East Portland. That's the right thing to do. But one of the things that I really want to highlight is that at Multnomah County, we've come to a new understanding recently. And that understanding is that if we want to serve people in this community, and if we want to help support people in this community, we can't just do it by providing services. We have to do it by helping people lift themselves up. Because at the end of the day, Multnomah County, which is the safety net service provider in our community, the best way we can help people in need is to help them be self-sufficient. And so recently, Multnomah County has shifted our emphasis and begun to make real important investments in economic development. And we've done it in a few different ways. One of the ways, and one that we're here celebrating today, is Multnomah County's partnership with the City of Portland and the Portland Development Commission in creating the Neighborhood Prosperity Initiative. And what that's about is a frankly radically different conception of urban renewal. It's first of all not about long-term debt, and that helps, but more importantly, it's about working with communities, traditionally underserved communities in East Portland, and working with them in ways so that the neighborhoods help devise and own the economic development strategies. And so there's a whole series of neighborhoods that are now the subject of new investment opportunities, but these again are not investment opportunities coming down from above. These are investment opportunities that the community is developing and that the community owns. And it was a significant partnership for Multnomah County because we think it's the right thing to do. Frankly, I want to acknowledge the leadership of Mayor Adams and Patrick Quentin and the board of PDC. This is a new approach for Portland Development Commission, and it's the right approach, and that's why Multnomah County has jumped on board with it. If you don't know, one of the things we did in addition to help creating it is we voted as a county board to invest an additional $1 million into it of Multnomah County General Fund. That's not an easy choice, but it was the right choice. We've also specifically helped the Rosewood Initiative, which is a piece that's grown out of that with an additional $70,000 investment to help them take control of their neighborhood, make that a safe neighborhood, because frankly, if neighborhoods aren't safe, they cannot develop economically. All of these are part of Multnomah County's new economic development strategy. Another key part of our new economic development strategy is our new microloan program, because we understand that at the end of the day, the people that we're serving would rather be economically independent. And so we worked in partnership with Microenterprise Services of Oregon and Mercy Corps and have created a new $1 million microloan program. And we've used this program to provide loans to emerging small businesses, businesses like a cobbler shop, a donut shop, a bike shop. And we give them loans, also technical assistance and support to help them to thrive. The good news is there's still about $500,000 left in that fund. And I want to just point out and highlight our economic development director who's here, John Talaska. John, raise your hand. If you are a business owner or you know a business owner who could benefit from this program, come see John, because we want to help you. Because what we're here for, what we're really trying to do at Multnomah County is to partner with the community, to partner with East Portland, and to be a part in helping you build your success. That's why we're here today. That's why I'm fired up to be here today. And I want to thank you all for all of you taking time out of your day to come join us for this exciting event. That's all right. All right. So we're going to have a slight change in our agenda. Now please join me in welcoming Ping Kah Sutherland from the Asian American Chamber.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Well, I think he was saying that we need more energy. So let me say it again. How are you doing this morning? Thank you. So I want to actually say thank you to Ergo for hosting this wonderful event. A little bit information to share. I used to work here 20 years ago, so it's really good to see some familiar faces here. So my name is Ping Kah Sutherland. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce. We call it APAC because it's way too named, the original name. So what we do is that we actually provide different kind of services to our community. We are the catalyst, we're the connector. We connect the Asian community to local businesses and helping them to get to know other government officers and finding ways to fund their businesses. And we're not as rich as the county. We don't have that money. But what we do is we make sure that we connect the business to them, and then we tell them that they need to fund those people. We also do a lot of workshop and trainings, because as a business owner, constantly you need to understand. You can't just go out and use the same ideas, same theory that you learned 20 years ago to do business. You need to learn something new every day. And you need to network, you need to learn new skills, and you need to find ways to boost your business. So that's what we do. In the past, we have partnership with different organizations. One of them is PACO, right there. And we also partner with PAVA. PACO is actually, PACO is a Filipino chamber. They've been wonderful. They've been around for over 15 years. They have been helping a lot of the Filipinos community. And the next one we actually partner with is PAVA, is the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce here in town. And we also have done quite a few projects with the Cambodian and the Chinese community. And then next on our agenda is that we'll be working closely with the Middle Eastern communities on the west side of town. So if you have a chance, please do come and visit us and find out what we do. And we welcome you to network with us. And I want to say is also thank you to PDC. We actually got support from PDC to provide technical assistance to the businesses on the east side of Portland. So for many of you who need technical assistance, please contact me or APAC. We would love to have you and help you to get your business going. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.
Well, thank you for being here. My name is Allison Spencer, and many of you know me because I've been around the community working for Commissioner Shiprack for 5 years now. And she's not here today because she is not feeling well at all, but she would probably tell me to roll out my beloved community speech. That speaks to the fact that she's lived here in Southeast Portland she was elected by the people of Southeast Portland, and for her, people are her most, her greatest commitment is to the people who live here. People provide the vision and the energy needed to make things happen for families, for communities, for the social institutions that they are a part of, and for the business community as well, our economic development. So I would say I'm really very happy to see a number of people coming together, people of different backgrounds, people with different challenges and opportunities made available, different kind of opportunities that are available. And that my hope is that all of you can come together with common vision and speak with a common voice to those institutions that are here to serve you, the county, the city, state, all of those people who have the resources to make your dreams come true. So thank you for having me talk to you a little bit today. And please know that we'll be out in the community, Judy and I, finding out what your hopes and your dreams are and helping you to make those come true. Thank you.
And now, please welcome Mr. John Moelis from I just messed up. No, John, I'm sorry. My mistake. Mr. Justin Zellner. Give him a hand, please.
Thank you, Baruti. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my favorite place to hold events. I hope we hold all of our events here in the future, so thanks for hosting us here today. I'm Justin Zellner. Some of you know me as the Senior Director of Sustainability and Public Affairs for the Rose Quarter and the Portland Trailblazers, but I come here today as the Board President of Venture Portland. I have a few things I want to go over, and then I want to get real about some stuff. Approximately 50 unique business districts thrive here in the city of Portland. Since 1986, Venture Portland has been providing capacity building, training, technical assistance, and grant funding for these neighborhood business districts. In fact, over the last 15 years, Venture Portland has invested nearly $1 million into our business district growth. That's been leveraged additionally, and this is important, by $3 million from all of you in our business districts here in Portland. Our districts, being serious now, represents the majority of our city's businesses. These districts also employ Portlanders, making up almost half of our city's jobs. We serve the diverse communities that surround them. Portland's neighborhood business districts meet regional, national, and international demand for goods and services. We've been very busy, and I won't go over everything, but we host a series of capacity building programs for neighborhood businesses and business districts here in Portland. In the last year, we launched a new website, ventureportland.org. I encourage you to go to it. It has a great highlight, that's ventureportland.org, a great highlight of all of our business districts and the communities and what they mean to us, and it's something that you can celebrate together. We highlighted the importance of small businesses with the Portland Celebrate Small campaign. You might remember the window stickers in a lot of your local small businesses. On November 1st of this year, we're going to be celebrating the city, and we're going to actually take an opportunity to come to my home, the Rose Garden, and together we're going to be celebrating what it means to be business districts in our city. Those business districts have put together some really cool packages for this party. I encourage you to come bid on these packages, their experiences about what it means to be in Hawthorne or Kenton or 42nd Avenue, and all that money goes back to those business districts for future development. Finally, we gave out nearly $70,000 in grants this last year to fund 30 different business district projects, and there's a gnat flying on me. That was matched 4-1 by our business districts, so they also put in $260,000 worth of capital for those projects. Look, it's working, and I'm going to give you some stats and figures. The end of 2009, between 2009 and 2011, business district membership increased 46% and revenue increased 130% across business districts citywide. We're moving in the right direction, but there's still a lot more work to do, as most of you know. We talk about a couple major initiatives, and these things hit sort of the sexy highlight of articles in the paper, which is Greater Portland's initiative to think about how we're going to bring more business to the city of Portland. That's really important. We're talking about a major initiative for exporting here from all of our businesses out to the rest of the world. That's really important too. But equally important is actually what's happening at the neighborhood business district level, and we need to remember that. Again, it doesn't necessarily get the sexy highlight in the local paper, but this is really important. And as one of your leaders and proud to be a member of the city of Portland and live on the east side, I am very encouraged by sitting down with some of our elderly leaders who say things like this to me. Justin, I remember when we had 15-minute neighborhoods in the city of Portland, where we had markets at our corners, and we could walk, and we actually understood the importance of connecting jobs, economy, and what it means to have a livable neighborhood that we're all very proud of. I'm happy to hear that the history of Portland was successful and what founded and made Portland, Portland. And I believe we're heading that direction again, and it's very exciting. So I appreciate all of you being here today and to help us get to that point. And thank you so much for the commissioners, PDC, the mayor's office for inviting us. And now I'm introducing our next speaker, which is John Moelis from the Portland Development Commission Board. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. There's an advantage to going last on the agenda because most of the facts and figures have already been shared, so I'm not going to recite all the numbers. But when I went on the PDC 7 years ago, I, in all honesty, wasn't aware of all the work that the Portland Development Commission did in the neighborhoods. I think a lot of people, when they think of the PDC, they think of Pioneer Courthouse Square and light rail and streetcar and things that are flashy and make the headlines. And I think due to a lot of our Board of Commissioners, both present and some of the past members, Executive Director Quinton and his predecessors, we said not only is the focus in the neighborhoods is the right thing to do, but how are we going to ramp that up? And I think this effort here is part of the work that's come out of the PDC making a conscious decision to try and get deeper into the neighborhoods and help grow them up. I think if somebody would have said 5 years ago, you're going to get 250 people in a room east of 82nd, business leaders, community leaders, neighborhood leaders, stakeholders, and you're all going to be talking about economic development in East Portland, most people would have laughed. And yet, here we are. So I think I'd like to thank all of you for making that happen. Thank you. Thank yourselves. So our board is really proud to be part of this effort. Again, I want to recognize Chair Andrews, who's here, Executive Director Quinton. There's several PDC staffers in the room that have put a lot of hard work and effort. If you're a PDC staffer, stand up and wave your hand. You need to be recognized. Thank you. So I think there's a couple of things that are really important as we move forward. Number one, I think these efforts need to be continued to be led by the folks in the neighborhoods. It's really important for us at PDC to have the contracts that are going out to help fund these projects be competitively bid and local providers providing those services. And then we need to continue to learn from each other and talk and figure out how do we make these efforts successful and build on them and continue to help raise up neighborhoods in the city of Portland. So thanks very much, and actually I'm next to last. Ray Espana from NEA is here. So Ray, welcome, thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a privilege and an honor, a blessing to be with you today. I'm Ray. I've been involved in community affairs for some time now. And I want to acknowledge appreciation and much respect for SACOM and ERCO for hosting us here. I'd like to recognize the leadership that we have amongst us who have been courageous, who are being tested, and who are beginning to listen to the truth that we speak in the community. And so my message today, and I'll be brief, is just to attempt to acknowledge a message and to convey to you a message of hopefulness for our respective communities. I have voiced and will continue to voice concern with failed policies in all shapes of governance, from city, state, county, where they've had adverse effects on our respective communities. We know in the community that our communities, our children, our families have suffered through this economic downturn. We know we've made the economic case that our communities are further behind competitively in this community than we were 20 years ago. We recognize, we have this truth amongst us that our neighborhoods are struggling. And yet we also demonstrate the resilience to show up in East Portland, as Mr. Mola says, to talk about hopefulness, to talk about the time is now and the time is right for us to continue to talk about making this a more just and equitable community for all of our children and our families. I said I was going to be brief, and I'm going to stick to that. I bring to you a indigenous, a tribal worldview where I consider you my relatives. We are all connected, and that's the message that I speak today, that I offer a message of how we in the community can continue to work closely and continue to tell our truth to those that are charged with listening. I would ask you just for a second or two to close your eyes and let your mind's eye just try to connect to two things. One is what you think you see and what you think you hear. And I will share with you my perspective on it. So please, just bear with me. Thank you. What I see is those that are charged with listening beginning to listen to the truth that emanates from our communities. What I hear is that roar of equity and justice that's coming forward. You, me, all of us together will profoundly change this community at this point in time. We won't go back. We have our stories. We have our truth. Those opportunities to tell that story is occurring in Northeast. It's occurring in East Portland. It's occurring in our schools. It's occurring everywhere we turn because we are committed to that. We are obligated to do what's best for our children, a world perspective, seventh generation. We come not just for ourselves, but those that follow. For our extended families, no longer will we have policies that destroy neighborhoods. We're gonna put an end to that. No longer will we have unequitable education in our schools. We just have to figure it out. So today, my brief message is, I believe we present a solution, a commitment, and an energy to make this happen now. I'm a person that believes in no borders, sin fronteras. There are no obstacles to what we can achieve. There's no divide. We're here together. So with that message, I want to again thank you for this time. It's been humbling. I wanted to acknowledge the leadership, Chair Cogan, Mayor Adams, the leadership of the Portland Development Commission, because I think they are providing the necessary leadership in this community. They have been courageous and very intentional about establishing policies and supporting practices and convening us where we can speak our truth, we can get the resource that we need to advance our particular agenda. So you need to be, I would ask you to consider that as signs of change. I consider that a start. But it's going in the right direction. With that, I would just offer again it's been a humbling experience to speak as many folks here. There are many friends. As some of you know, I've been away and I'm back and feeling healthier and happier than ever. And I look forward to working with you in your particular neighborhood as we advance our collective agenda. So it's been a blessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Baruti, and proud East Sider. I first want to thank all of our distinguished speakers and just thank you for your support, your insights, your inspiration, and your truth. It's really reassuring to know that we have leaders and partners who are committed to neighborhood economic development, in particular committed to East Portland. And like all the other speakers, I want to express my appreciation and welcome all of you here today. It is I think the greatest need right now in Portland is creating a prosperous East Portland. And while that's a fairly daunting task, this full room today, I think, is a reminder of our shared commitment to complete that work. So if you'll permit me, I'd like to spend a few moments taking a look at how far we've come and then talk about where we go next. 3.5 years ago, the city of Portland adopted its first economic development strategy in 15 years. And that was a strategy with job creation front and center. And what that means that instead of focusing our work on buildings, we decided to finally invest in people and businesses. The strategy also committed us to work regionally to drive sustained and stable economic growth based on our own homegrown advantages, our own ideas and innovations, and the productivity of our own workers. And I believe our efforts are making a difference with 16,000 net new jobs in Multnomah County and declining unemployment. But we still face significant obstacles. We're not creating enough jobs to meet population growth, and wages aren't growing fast enough. And more importantly, communities of color continue to have higher poverty rates and lower incomes. And our neighborhoods are increasingly forced to choose between two equally destructive futures, one of gentrification and displacement, or one of lagging commercial investment and entrenched poverty. At the time the strategy was adopted, we understood that a rising regional economy would not be enough. We knew we needed more explicit action steps to ensure that all Portlanders benefited from a growing regional economy. And so 2 years ago, we convened a community economic development roundtable at Portland State. And I think many of us were there. And at that roundtable, we laid the foundation for the collaboration that resulted in the neighborhood economic development strategy. And the goal of this strategy was straightforward: to create thriving commercial areas, successful neighborhood businesses, and equitable access to quality jobs throughout our city. And the implementation was equally clear. We wanted to adopt a best practice, community-driven approach to successfully position neighborhoods, local businesses, and their residents to connect to and compete in the regional economy. So how do we accomplish that? Well, we started by increasing community capacity to achieve economic development outcomes. And we're working to foster neighborhood business growth with a focus on connecting local businesses to traded sector markets. And third, we're focusing our development activities in commercial corridors on projects that explicitly promote job and business growth. And as with the Portland Plan, the core value of this strategy is equity. And when we say equity, we mean intentional equity. None of us in this room are content to simply level the playing field and assume that everyone who comes to the table has had an equal opportunity to prepare to compete. So instead, we are putting communities of color, lower income people, and underserved areas at the head of the line. Inspired by eye-opening reports from the Coalition of Communities of Color, NAIA, the Urban League, and others, we recognize that closing equity gaps must be an explicit outcome of our work. So before I talk about the implementation of our strategy over the past year, I want to talk a little bit about East Portland. Because the neighborhood economic development approach seeks to build on specific strengths within each neighborhood, and East Portland has some very significant advantages for economic development. I think, as we all know, East Portland is the fastest growing and most demographically diverse part of the city, with a rich combination of peoples and cultures and traditions and languages. The David Douglas School District, for example, counts over 67 different languages spoken by its students and their families. And if you look at almost any theory of economic growth, it validates the notion that diversity matters. It drives innovation, it drives creativity, it drives entrepreneurship. In short, diversity is the fuel of vibrant economies. From a business perspective, East Portland is one of the most connected locations in the region, with unmatched access to our major air, ground, and water modes of transportation. East Portland has over 3,700 businesses employing over 46,000 workers, and most of those businesses are small businesses with fewer than 10 employees. And while the country was experiencing a recession, East Portland continued to add jobs, growing jobs by 4.4% per year. And I think we all know, based on our partners with Adventist and the Oregon Clinic, the local economy is anchored by a significant healthcare cluster that provides not just services to the community, but jobs and career paths for its residents. East Portland has a healthy supply of affordable housing, it has quality school districts, and East Portland is also where the region's skilled workers live. 89% of East Portland residents commute outside of the neighborhood to work, and the community is home to a disproportionate share of the region's manufacturing and construction trade workers. And perhaps most importantly, East Portland is rich in community assets and leadership. Rose CDC, the East Portland Action Plan, East Portland Chamber of Commerce, our local business districts, Hacienda CDC, NAIA, Verde, ERCO, our incredible host today, the minority chambers of commerce, and many others. In short, East Portland is ripe for economic growth and already has the connections to tie local businesses and residents to traded sectors and the regional economy. And with you as our partners, we believe that we have together laid the foundation for growth over the past year. The past 15 months have been an exciting year of energy, creation, and community spirit as people from all walks of life have rolled up their sleeves and helped launch a broad range of innovative approaches to neighborhood economic development. Chair Kogan already spent time talking about our Neighborhood Prosperity Initiative districts. And as he mentioned, these districts represent a new use of urban renewal to implement a community-driven Main Street approach to revitalizing our local commercial districts. Because local business associations manage these districts, the work in each district reflects community priorities and strengthens communities from within. Under this model, the community selects the initiatives and the projects and is accountable for their success. And by managing the initiatives within their districts, these business associations will develop the resources and capacity to sustain this economic growth for many years. To increase opportunities for business success and growth, PDC created the Small Business Development Program, which has invested over $600,000 in community-based organizations like APAC, who have in turn provided 3,000 hours of technical assistance to small businesses. Our Economic Opportunity Initiative Microenterprise Program, which assists the lowest income levels in the city, has served over 400 businesses. We also recognize that connecting East Portland to higher paying traded sector jobs is critical. So we created the East Portland Enterprise Zone to bring benefits to East Portland businesses that have been available to North and Northeast Portland businesses for years. This zone offers a 5-year tax abatement for companies that make significant investments in East Portland and produce jobs and job training. Those companies, in turn, rebate 15% of the abatement back to a jobs fund, which can be used to support neighborhood economic development initiatives like our neighborhood prosperity initiative districts. And given our strategy's focus on communities of color and priority neighborhoods, an equity lens now influences every action, investment, and program. With our partners on the Neighborhood Economic Development Leadership Group, we are launching an equity-based assessment of our commercial corridors to prioritize PDC resources to close those equity gaps. Can I please ask everybody who's a member of the Neighborhood Economic Development Leadership Group to stand so we can acknowledge you? This group stepped up after the strategy's adoption to help guide our implementation, and we all truly appreciate the leadership you are setting in helping us chart a new direction for our work. So thank you very much for your service. We all know that small businesses can't grow and increase jobs without capital, but that's been hard to come by since the recession. To address this need, we have partnered with Craft 3, a community non-for-profit bank, to create a $1.5 million loan fund to provide working capital and other financing not available from traditional lenders. And the focus of those loans is on East Portland and our NPI districts. Is Adam here from Craft 3? So that's Adam's from Craft 3, so thank you very much to Craft 3 for our partnership. So with this kind of base to build on, what should year 2 of our strategy look like? In many respects, that's why we're here. That's the question we are asking today. Your contributions today will guide the strategy for this year and beyond. So we should ask ourselves, how best do we continue to focus public resources on closing equity gaps? How do we leverage the resources in the community and private sector to foster sustained economic growth? How do we connect neighborhood economic development to the larger regional economy? Portland needs to strengthen our existing businesses, as Justin mentioned, so that we can grow and add jobs. Thinking local and supporting East Portland has to be paramount. PDC recognizes that, in many respects, we're the newest player in East Portland, and we are honored to be working together with many partners that have provided strong community leadership for years, organizations like Rose CDC, and Human Solutions, ERCO, NEA, Hacienda Verde, and many others, and Venture Portland as well, that have supported our business associations for many years. So we plan to continue doing what we did last year, collaborating, sharing resources, sharing decision-making, empowering local communities and neighborhoods to guide their own economic future. I am optimistic and excited that we can build on our assets, public and private, and meet the challenges together because of the diversity and commitment of the people in this room. So on behalf of the Portland Development Commission and its dedicated staff and board, I want to once again welcome everybody today and thank each of you for your ongoing effort to make Portland, and especially East Portland, a better place to live and work. So let's get to work. Thank you.